Welcome, everyone. In this video, we're going to talk through the Tower Red deck of the Vibes TCG. Now, this deck first kind of came on the scene at the end of Season 2, right around the time that the season was closing, while the Legend of Lil cards were already available. I'm not sure exactly who came up with the original idea, but I know Caution Fun spent a lot of time refining it during that season end time. Now, as we've kind of moved on into the current metagame, so I think this deck is really powerful because it is quite flexible that you can kind of tech it in different directions. Now, right now, at the time of recording, which is Sunday morning, October 19th, Coliseum is still banned from the online client due to the fact that it has bugs associated with it. So the metagame right now is extremely slow. And so with the slow metagame, I've built this deck in a way to kind of work well against a lot of those relic control decks or the control hats, as Iridge would call it. So that deck is pretty popular right now, as well as kind of the mirror match. And so because of that, I think we've put in some card choices that are very, very slow. If Coliseum were to come back in the metagame, I would definitely recommend adjusting this deck list. So the big changes I would make there is I would put in the one drop, as well as maybe Serene Penguin, and then also just cut out a bunch of these like really slow cards. So I think that overall with this deck, you kind of want to just understand how the metagame is, and then kind of put the final cards in as you would put them. So when we go through the deck, I'll talk about what cards are definitely core, and then which ones are more flexible. And okay, so let's jump in. So first, let's talk about like the kind of core mechanics of the deck. So it's called Tower, and it's named after Leaning Tower. And so Leaning Tower says flop penguins can now participate in vibe check, and unflop penguins do not participate in vibe check. So the idea with Leaning Tower is it's one of those cards that, similar to Silent Snow Globe, it just completely changes how the game works. And so your deck is kind of built to take advantage of these changes from Leaning Tower. And so it's kind of a finisher card, but you don't always have to play it. So I do think it's one of these cards where you have to be very thoughtful of how you play it, but it's kind of the card that kind of completely changes the game in a way that's to your advantage. Now, am playing 4 copies of it, but I've been playing it with only 3 copies pretty much the entire time because I only opened the fourth one yesterday. That being said, I think 4 copies is probably right, but you can definitely get by with only 3 because that's what I've been doing up until now. So then the core combo in the deck beyond the actual tower is you're playing LilSinger, which says choose another unflapped penguin in your huddle and flop it, put a vibe counter on that penguin. Now, LilSinger is great for many reasons. So first of all, it's a really easy way to get your penguins flopped. And right, you need your penguins flopped for them to participate in the vibe check once Leaning Tower is on the board. It also gives it a +1 counter, so this works really well with Popcorn. So you can play this to protect Popcorn on the next turn from Gotham or from Daydreaming Penguin. So it's a good way to kind of protect your Popcorn as well. And in the mirror match, it's often about having the biggest penguin, and so LilSinger is just a way to like slowly and surely build up your penguins. One other thing is in the current metagame, but I think in vibes in general, you almost always want to lose the vibe check. Like not always, especially like against Coliseum, you have to win the vibe check. But in general, losing the vibe check is better because you get the option of which card you want to rod, and you don't really need that many rods. This deck probably runs off 5 to 6 rods. So because you want to lose the vibe check, Lil Singers gives you a lot of control on losing the vibe check or tying the vibe check or winning the vibe check, depending on what you need in that specific situation. And then LilIntrovert. So the reason that red is so good with the tower deck is because of LilIntrovert and LilSinger. So LilIntrovert says whenever this penguin is flopped, boost its 5/7 for the rest of the cycle. So on itself, it's already great. So with LilSinger, you flop it, now it becomes 14 vibe, you get the +1 counter, 15 vibe. 15 vibe is already pretty big. You do that if you turn 16, 17, 18 vibe. But where you really go crazy is then maybe you play a WhataTwist on it, and then you flop it again, either with another LilSinger or just with an action card. And then this thing can easily get into the 24 vibe. And with that, you can even beat the finishers from other decks. So, for example, like LilIntrovert can get bigger than a Romulus with a cleanup good, especially if you have maybe an InspiringStory out there, or maybe a yellow deck with a put your flippers in the air. Um, Other than that, so we're definitely running PeaceOutPenguin. PeaceOutPenguin is just so strong. It's removal. It's a built-in 2-for-1. It's just like it's one of the strongest cards in the game, and it's one of the reasons why red is playable in general. So PeaceOutPenguin also really helps in the red matchup. Really helps in the Bizbunk matchup because you can take the ascendings off the board. It's really powerful in the mirror matchup to take out the opponent's Little Singers and Peace Out Penguins. So overall, this card always a 4 of in red if you're playing actions. Then, also, I would say the Inspiring Story a popcorn combo, right? We've talked about this ad nauseum. So, yeah, this is just a really strong combo. In certain matchups, this will just win you the game. Against yellow, it's one of your main tools. Even in the mirror match, it can be really good. So one of the reasons to win vibe checks is because of popcorn and inspiring story. So, anyway, overall, definitely good. I think you could play only 3 copies of inspiring story if you wanted to, because usually you don't really need the second one and they can clog up your hand. So if you're looking for tech slots, you could do that, although I generally always play 4 of each. Other than that, we're WhataTwist, right? WhataTwist is really powerful in this deck because you want to be able to unflop your opponent's penguin sometimes too. So on that final vibe check, right, you play Leaning Tower, maybe they have a Bashful Swordsman, they flop it, then you unflop it, and then you can't win the vibe check. So there is just lots of situations where WhataTwist, you can use it on your own introvert to get double activation out of it. You can unflop your opponent's penguins. Sometimes you just need to unflop your own penguins for whatever reason. So, like a peace out or whatever. So I think that the WhataTwist is a super strong card. I am only playing 3 copies because but you could definitely play 4 as well. All right. So other than that, other core cards, TossUp. So you need some activators for your Peace Out Penguin. TossUp is nice because it can count as multiple activators. Um, you could also maybe play Heads I Win, Tail You Lose. That's really good against Coliseum because sometimes you can hit their Coliseum in their hand. So you definitely need the activators. And then the other activator we're playing is Hit the High Note. I think you could argue you need more activators. So because we're playing 4 toss up, 3 hit the high note. Hit the high note is just really good in the mirror matchup. And you can also bounce your own tower up. So let's say you play tower, and then they basically flop all their penguins to win the vibe check. You can then play hit the high note on your own tower, and then you end up winning the vibe check. So there's a lot of tricky stuff you can do with hit the high note. I'm playing 2 copies of Sunburn. I think this is debatable. I like it for the mirror match as well as for against Bizbunk. But yeah, Sunburn is definitely a tech card. You don't need to play it. But put on a show. This card is definitely core in the deck. Definitely 2 copies are core. I would say you can play up to 4 copies, especially in the mirror match. 4 copies is definitely really good. But right now, I don't know. I'm playing 3 copies of Put on a Show, 2 copies of Sunburn, and then we're also playing 3 copies of Run It Back. This is just this really flexible mid game penguin. And it basically can become an extra sunburn. It can become an extra activator. It can become an extra put on a show, or it can just stay on the board. And then if someone clears the board, it can kind of count as card advantage. So overall, I think you could definitely play only 2 copies. You can even play 0 copies if you want to play Serene Penguin, which is better against Coliseum. So Run It Back is definitely one of the more flexible uh, cards in this deck. So next card is BounceHouseRod. So I really like BounceHouseRod because it fits my playstyle really well, which is I like playing a little more reactive and like kind of sitting back a bit with this deck. So BounceHouseRod is really good for that. But you can definitely cut it, especially if you're playing if you're playing the more aggressive variant, BounceHouseRod, it gets even stronger because you win the vibe check more. So but against like if it's a Coliseum heavy meta game, you're not like BounceHouseRod is so bad into Coliseum because you're usually losing the vibe checks and you don't really want bounce house if you're just continuously losing the vibe check. And it's so bad when Coliseum is on the board. So this is another card that's I think good without Coliseum, but when Coliseum comes back, I'm not so sure about its strength. And I think with bounce house in general, most decks want to play 3 copies max, 2 to 3 copies, just because if you get 2 bounce houses in your hand, they like have such anti synergy because then you end up rodding one, and when one's a rod, you don't want to bounce house into a bounce house. So I think 3 is a sweet spot for this card. LilZoomer is a nice kind of end game card, 2 copies. There are just a lot of end games where it's your only out, and it can also just be the difference between winning and losing. So plus it's red, and so I think putting 2 of these at the top end is definitely something, but in certain matchups, it's completely useless. So I wouldn't because like just buying an extra turn often is not enough for this deck, but instead you have to like actually do something. But you can do stuff with like bouncing a popcorn or there's just a lot of little tricks you can do with it. Then we've got 2 last tech cards, 3 copies of SimonSmasher. This is for the mirror match and against the control hats deck. So also one comment on the control hats deck. I didn't realize that was the name of the deck when I made the video about it last week. So yeah, just if anyone didn't know that already. It's called Control Hats from iRidge is the original creator of it. So not Redurple Control. So I won't rename the old video because I said it a bunch of times in the video, but moving forward, we'll use Control Hats as the name. Okay, so SimonSmasher is, yeah, really good. Well, it's not even that good in the matchup because it can get removed, but also in the mirror matchup, it can be useful. So it's, I'm still experimenting with this a little bit, but I think in the current metagame, it's good. Then we've got Binkus, 2 copies. So against BizBunk, which I've seen a lot of recently, but BizBunk kind of comes and goes in waves. So right now I'm kind of teched for Control Hats, Red Tower, and BizBunk. And against BizBunk, this deck is already not bad because you do have a lot of removal. You have the 2 Sunburns, which again are tech cards for that matchup, and then you got the 4 Peace Outs. So and the Popcorns. So you can usually take care of the Ascending Penguin pretty quickly, but like just removing Ascending Penguin is not quite enough against BizBunk. You really then need something like a Binkus as well. So overall, that's the final tech card that I put in the deck. So now let's talk about some other tech cards you could play. So if you wanted to adjust this for different matchups, the first one is definitely Bunkus. So if you're playing against blue, a blue mill is in the metagame, play 1 Bunkus for sure. And then you do that thing where you play basically, you can play 1 Galaxy Penguin. So you play 1 Galaxy Penguin, 1 Binkus, 1 Bunkus. And that's kind of like playing 2 Bunkus and 2 Galaxy Penguins in most situations. So I think like if there's a lot of blue mill, I would play that. But if you don't see blue mill, I would just cut down to 2 Binkus. Then, like I said before, we can play a Contemplative Penguin. This is good for the Coliseum matchup, just so you don't fall behind too much. And then also Bamboo is another option if you want to go super Coliseum focused. You could play Bamboo as well. Although usually Contemplative is better because just tying that first vibe check can already be very impactful. Then you play Serene. So Serene Penguin is pretty interesting in this deck because its ability sometimes can become a positive. So overall, Serene Penguin. So if you're focusing on just a very aggressive metagame where you have to win vibe checks early, Serene Penguin can usually be used to cheese out a vibe check early. Heads I win, tails you lose. This card is also very good in the Coliseum matchup because often they will have just Coliseum in their hand with when the turn they're going into 9 rods. And then you can just do this to hit the Coliseum and then they can't play it anymore. And typically with RunItBackPenguin, you can get 2 to 3 activations off of this. Maybe you may have 2 in your hand and a RunItBackPenguin, or you have 2 RunItBacks and one of these. So this can be very useful in that matchup, and it's another activator. So if you don't want to play the Sunburns, for example, this would be the other activator to play. So let's think anything else other than that in terms of tech cards. Not that I can think of right now, but I'm sure there's other cards that would be good in this deck as well. Before we jump in, let's talk real quick about mulligans and gameplay. So for mulligans, I generally look for the just PeaceOutPenguin and LilSinger. Maybe I would keep a WhataTwist as well, right? You literally have nothing to play the first 2 turns, so you're not really looking for anything small. So if you have like a Peace Out, I would keep an activator with it. But really, it's mainly about Peace Out. If you know what deck they're playing, then right, that opens it up a lot. Like if I know I'm playing against BizBunk, I would keep Binkus. So yeah, so overall, but that's kind of how the mulligan works. There's really not a lot of like it's just trying to get a good curve. Although usually you don't even play out the curve because you're trying to lose the vibe check. So yeah, so let's talk a little bit how to play the deck. I play it very slow and reactive, and this is a very slow and reactive list. But I think that's also part of what the metagame is right now. So I think there are other ways to play it. So I think you'll just have to kind of figure out how it also goes with your play style. I think that's one thing that's just really important with card games in general is don't just don't just play the way that other people play the deck because if you don't really understand how those lines work, you're better off just to play a way that's more natural to you and then put in the cards that kind of support that play style. Because typically it's not like one is always better than the other, but just in certain matchups, certain ways can work better. But if you tune your deck to the way you like to play, in my experience, that's the best way to have success. All right, let's jump into some games. All right, taking a look at the first hand. So I think we definitely keep LilSinger and LilIntrovert because this is like a really strong combo in the deck. And so the really nice thing about it as well is basically as you get through the vibe check, like you can start losing the vibe checks easily because you have basically 2 penguins on the board. So I think overall, I really like keeping LilSinger with LilIntrovert and then just kind of just keep bouncing it up the deck. So okay, so we've got a WhataTwist, which is really nice because there are certain endgame situations where having one twist is very helpful. So we've got SimonSmasher, which is in certain matchups completely useless, and in certain ones just like a must remove or I win the game. And then Binkus. So I like to not play Binkus as a rod if I can until I confirm it's not Bizbunk, and I've got the tower. So overall, I think it's a balanced hand. Um, if it's like one matchup that can be tough here is so we'll play. I guess we'll play toss up as the rod. Mm, yeah, I think we'll play toss up as the rod because this is the most replaceable card. And we don't even have a piece out yet. So, but what I was saying was yellow can be a difficult matchup actually. Yum yum. So it is. I think that's among most of my losses, or a high proportion of them are to Yum Yum or to Bizbunk when I can't get the Bizbunk under control. That being said, the what's it called? The control hats deck it's a very bad matchup into control hats. Now I haven't played I've played this from the control hat side a bunch, and it's very easy to win, but generally they're not playing SimonSmasher. So I do wonder if the 3 copies of SimonSmasher will make the control hats matchup better. Okay, so now oof. I definitely wanna I'm now starting to wonder if this is control hats. So do I really wanna play the LilSinger? Um, I don't think so. I'm just gonna I wanna understand what deck they're playing because I don't wanna win the vibe check, and I like that they have the Baron. Because even if I play LilSinger and LilIntrovert, I will have to have the Baron, and, it's better not to have the Baron because I have to win 1 vibe check. And at this point, I'm happy with my hand. I'm curious what they're gonna play. Like, if this is Bizbunk and this is like an ascending comes down now. Okay, so it's yellow. Okay. So against yellow, a lot of these cards I'm keeping are not gonna be useful. Okay, so SimonSmasher, well, Binkus is the first, but yeah, so against yellow, you definitely wanna lose the vibe check and kinda starve them of cards. So, we also need an answer to what's it called? Um, to Penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes. So that's PeaceOutPenguin is really the only way I can deal with that. So we wanna draw as many cards as we can. So, it's definitely gonna be a so we haven't drawn so, right, for the yellow matchup, we have 4 cards. We have 4 popcorns and 4 peace outs, which are kind of the bread and butter of that matchup, and we've drawn none of them so far. So we could play maybe Simon Sma no, but the problem with playing Simon Smasher is it makes our popcorn really weak. So yeah, we'll be riding the Simon Smasher. Um, so I really, really don't wanna win vibe checks. Now I could maybe there's gonna be a turn where they're gonna play like what's it called? Okay, well, we'll play one Simon Smasher as a rod. Yeah, so I think we'll just keep losing the vibe check because I'm really just trying to dig aggressively for, Popcorn Penguin and Peace Out Penguin. Now, the nice thing now is if I get Peace Out Penguin, I can immediately activate it because I can play Singer with 6 rods. So maybe there's a point where I stop playing down rods, but I think for now, I'll just keep playing a rod every turn. If I had a bounce house rod, I'd be less concerned about winning the vibe check. So, okay, so run it back penguin. Does that really help us? Not really. I think we just keep losing the vibe checks and hopefully we will get somewhere. Okay, so shy penguin. Okay, so now we can definitely play the little extrovert because right there's a chance we will win this vibe check, um, because they could have a put on a show or a sorry check the yellow pages. So this looks like it's like a straight up yellow starter deck. I don't know if it's modified, but I guess we could always use toss up. But okay, so now I'm getting a little worried because well, am I getting worried? Hmm. I don't really know. Okay, so LilZoomer, that's a good card because we can put the Shy Penguin in their hand. But so as playing the starter deck, I I need to start getting my hand played. But I still think losing the vibe check every turn is going to be worth it. So we'll be able to play next turn a Little Singer and a Run It Back Penguin. And then the following turn, yeah, I think Leaning Tower. Hmm. Okay, so Do I have to play LilZoomer? Yeah, so okay, so I think I need to okay, so I can play Popcorn this turn. So I can play Popcorn. I don't need all these run it backs. And that's also why, like, I'm only playing, 3 copies of Run It Back. So, yeah, with Popcorn, we knock them off 14, buy 1 more turn, and maybe next turn, the little Zoomer will buy us another turn, or we can go with the Extrovert. So then the question is, do I use the Little Singer? Because getting the Popcorn up, like, what if they have a Gotham? So I think so the thought is, so if they don't have a Gotham, I definitely wanna use Little Singer on Popcorn, but I think I can wait 1 more turn because right. Now, again, because it's a yellow starter deck, I highly doubt this will matter. But also, like, if they had a Gotham, if I use Little Singer on Popcorn, in response, they can use the Gotham, and then the Popcorn gets iced. Whereas if I hold it back, we'll be fine. Okay, so second Popcorn. So that's going to be really nice. Inspiring Story would be great. Although I guess with Little Singer, I can get the Popcorn up to 3 in order to get the Penguin Who Zooms. So I could do 1 this turn, 1 next turn. So I think this yeah, so I think the safest way to close out this deck, this game okay, so yeah, I think we do Popcorn and Little Singer again. And then okay, so we're gonna keep the Little Zoomer because we'll wanna get rid of the Shy Penguin. We want the activate do we want the activator? Well, so next turn, we're gonna probably play 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, I don't think there's a need. Hmm. So Leaning Tower, I definitely wanna keep. The other introvert, like, what if they have a, what's it called? Yeah, so I guess RunItBackPenguin is really not necessary. So I guess we'll play that. Okay, so we'll play the 2, we'll definitely get rid of the, daydreaming, and we'll get rid of the, pot stirring. So, overall, okay, so, I mean, we do need to be careful about assessing how good of a game this was, because we are playing against the starter deck. But at this point, I do wanna boost them both up, so that next turn, the Popcorns will be able to take out the Penguin who zooms. So, we'll do 1 at a time. So, right, we wanna wait for this first one to complete, because if they played a Gotham at that point, then I could use the second one to save the Popcorn Penguin. But yeah, I think overall, this now is just a little unfair because I'm just playing a very new player. But either way, if we didn't draw the popcorns, we could have, I think, still won with Leaning Tower because we play basically Leaning Tower with little introvert, which is going to be bigger than the Shy Penguin, and they're going to have to flop the Shy Penguin, which is they can do with like they have actions to flop it, but it's not the easiest for them to flop it. So overall, okay, Sunburn really good too because Sunburn is going to let us. Let's say they play like a extrovert or something. I mean, either way, at this point, I don't really see a path to us losing. I mean, sure, it can always happen, but well, I'm not even sure. So they are playing not quite the standard list, but it's gonna be too little, too late. I think. So I think here we'll play the little zoomer, bounce the shy penguin back, and I think we'll play 1 toss up as a rod, just to be at 15. So I think overall this will be good. Yeah. So now I wouldn't say that this is like a reason why little zoomer should be in the deck because right this matchup like we shouldn't optimize our deck for the yellow starter deck. So, but you know, little zoomer, this is kind of how little zoomer often functions. It's like that final turn it kind of comes in and it just removes their top penguin for that one final vibe check. So okay, so good first game. Again, playing the yellow starter deck isn't like the most difficult. In general, I think did I maybe play too slow? I'm not sure. And then I had all these tech cards that aren't meant for this matchup. But again, right, this matchup is not difficult because the yellow star deck just isn't that strong. I mean, it's still a very strong deck, as opposed to just random cards, but compared to top tier decks, it's definitely not there. Okay, let's jump to the next game. All right, jumping into the next game, what we can see here is so we've got Peace Out Penguin, always a good keep. I think we'll just keep the Peace Out Penguin and the twist. Again, I'm not sure if twist is right, but okay, so we've got two Peace Out Penguins, so that's really good because they're one of the best cards in the game, or not in this deck at least. But we need an activator, so let's see what they're going to play. But overall, I think so. We have Peace Out. We have Run It Back. We've got Inspiring Story. So we have a good curve. Not that again, like this isn't a curve deck, so we don't necessarily need to play out the curve. But we'll see what comes next, and then we'll kind of go from there. So, all right, Binkus. So I'm gonna keep Binkus in my hand because I want to confirm that this isn't a Bizbunk. Before I see if it's a Bizbunk or not, and put on a show. Yeah, I mean, so this is why it's really nice to play 3 copies of BounceHouseRod because these early rods don't come back to bite you as much. So even if you're not winning vibe checks, that can be good. So if I had an activator, I would consider playing Peace Out right away to kind of play against the ascending. But at this point, okay, so I have LilSinger. So I think maybe we do go for it. Mm, yeah, I think we'll play. Okay, we'll try this game a little more aggressive because last game I think we just kind of sat back too much and we could have actually fallen behind. So I think I'll do like LilSinger into Peace Out, and then I'll just kind of lose every vibe check from there. So okay, so it's Peace Out. So okay, so if it's Peace Out, this is probably either the Relic Control deck or it's the Mirror. So the nice thing is against Peace Out, we have now we're gonna win all the vibe checks. So that's really annoying. So we can play Binkus. Okay, so we can play the extrovert actually because now because what we don't want to play the Peace Out because if we play the Peace Out, then the Peace Out can remove our Peace Out and the LilSinger at the same time. But at this point, the Peace Out will have to trade 1-for-1 with the LilSinger, which isn't ideal. But if we can get away with basically just losing the vibe check. Yeah, so we really want to lose the vibe check. But anyway, at this point, the Peace Out can't remove both of them. So it'll be um yeah, so the nice thing is we can basically as soon as we get an activator, we can play double Peace Out. And with double Peace Out, we can take care of their Peace Out, basically. So we just need an activator and then we'll be fine. And we'll play Inspiring Story next turn. So we're gonna keep losing the vibe check. And we'll try to get this Peace Out off the board. So if we can like somehow induce their Peace Out to trade for our singer, that will be good. But so for now, we'll just keep playing slowly. I think we'll just play the Inspiring Story. We definitely want to start losing the vibe check. So playing that singer out was pretty detrimental. Because now even if we get a PopcornPenguin, we'll need something else. We'll need another Inspiring Story. So either way, my plan is just to keep losing the vibe check. Okay, well, that's definitely annoying. But the nice thing is now we will lose the vibe check because, well, unless they now remove the LilSinger. Yeah, so if they now remove this LilSinger with Peace Out, we would lose the vibe check, or we would basically permanently win the vibe check. So yeah, I guess Tina Who Tears. I didn't talk about this card in this deck. I don't really like it because it has anti synergy with Popcorn, but I guess there are certain matchups where it is good. I prefer the SimonSmasher though, if you're going to go for relic control. So anyway, okay, so now we lose the vibe check, which is good. And right, eventually we're gonna lose this little introvert to a so we have an activator sort of. Right. So we could play Peace Out, Sunburn, the Tina, and then yeah, but it's not really gonna be that good. Okay, so hmm. We definitely want to keep the introvert. So okay, so we could kind of take care of the board now, but I feel like we can do better. Let's just wait one more turn because yes, I could sunburn the Tina Who Tears, but then I'm giving up on the potential of getting a 2-for-1 with a Peace Out or removing it with the popcorn. So I think we kind of just sit back. We are going to lose to our introvert to a put on a show. Um, okay, so they are, yeah. So okay, so let me think through. Yeah, I think we might be running out of time of just being able to just kind of do the big turn. to just to clear everything because our yeah, because well, it's kind of already lost, I guess, because the sunburn no longer works on the Tina Who Tears. So we'll need them to play something else small. So let's see. But if we win the vibe check, we can play the popcorn. So that's maybe good. Okay, so Statue of Liberty. Hmm. Okay, so what do I want to remove with Statue of Liberty? I guess I'll just remove the introvert. So now, okay, so we've got the bounce house, which is good. So for now, we can basically do that. We'll just play that. We'll just keep, yeah, the Leaning Tower will be nice once we get it because we'll remove the Statue of Liberty. Um, I guess that doesn't really matter because the Tina will come back. But I think overall, even if they like put on a show, it's not the end of the world because right, we have another one under the Statue of Liberty that we'll just have to get back, or maybe with the SimonSmasher we'll get it back. So yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting. But okay, so so we have our own. Okay, so we need to remove the Statue of Liberty to get our other. Um, so I guess so. So if I play like a Leaning Tower, then when the Tina comes back, it's going to remove our Leaning Tower. So I guess we really would like a SimonSmasher would be good. So we do have popcorn, which if I win the vibe check, now we're playing against double peace out. So since we're playing against double peace out, um, hmm, yeah, because I need the activator. So yeah, but I have okay, so I have the sunburn. So I think I'll just play my double peace out this turn as well, and I'll go for the toss up. So I have the activator, so that if they do anything, we'll be able to handle this. And then yeah, but I think we kind of just sit back. Yeah, this is not going well. I think we are kind of okay. So SimonSmasher. So SimonSmasher is going to be interesting. It's gonna at least it's gonna trigger things to happen because they're gonna have to ugh. Okay, well, so against the popcorn, we can play popcorn. So that's fine. And then we play LilSinger because right against the popcorns will trade off. Okay, so yeah, so that'll buy us one more turn. And then we have yeah, because then hopefully the final turn we'll have SimonSmasher to take care of the Statue of Liberty. Maybe. Then we get our introvert back. All right, yeah, because I don't really want to play. Um, yeah, so we take care of their popcorn. Okay, then yeah, yeah. So Leaning Tower could be interesting. We'll see. Okay, so next turn we kind of have to go. We've put this off too long. So if we can get the SimonSmasher down, that will like sort of help. Although there's challenges with that as well. So yeah, but I guess the nice thing about the SimonSmasher is it's going to start off the chain for us. Okay, so we have just too many popcorns. So play SimonSmasher. And so we're going to start off with the toss up. And then we basically we can remove one piece out with each of our piece outs. And so with right, yeah, because basically they have two piece outs if they go first. So yeah, basically we're going to play toss up. And that's going to activate the SimonSmasher. And the SimonSmasher will take care of an inspiring story. And we'll see if they do anything about that. Okay, so tails, not really what we needed. But okay, so what do we want to take care of first? I guess we would take care of the um Statue of Liberty. Do I want yeah, because right now I don't have any I don't have any relics. So this will be a good time for the what's it called to come back. So we take care of the Statue of Liberty, and then we will get back our introvert. So then after that, we're going to use WhataTwist on the SimonSmasher, and then we're going to basically just we're going to just remove both of their inspiring stories. And yeah, I guess it's just a 1-for-1, but that's going to knock them off 15. And right now we have the advantage of basically right. We need to go second with the peace outs because the peace outs are tied, and so we want to go second with the peace outs. Now it's a little sad to lose all of our water twists here, but I don't really see another way to deal with this. So we'll just keep doing this, and that means next turn, right? We can knock him back down to 13. So SimonSmasher is definitely useful here. Now, whether it's going to be enough to win the game, that I'm not sure about. But yeah, right. If I go first with the peace outs, then they end up winning on the peace out battle. So in this situation, I think this is fine. And then next turn, right, we can actually sunburn a peace out. So we'll have even more peace out advantage. So we knocked them down off of 13. So SimonSmasher was at least very useful. Okay, another peace out. So theoretically, this turn will be the turn where things will get crazy for us. So we can basically go peace out and popcorn. Hopefully they don't have a second. Hopefully they don't have a second. Another inspiring story. So nice. So here we're gonna do. Okay, so we'll do peace out for sure, and then we'll do popcorn. I think we only need one popcorn, so we'll definitely want to put on a show, and we have our introvert. So I think, yeah, because then I think we'll want. Wow, I can't believe that we're somehow potentially coming back in this game. Okay, so now this is the turn where we're just gonna clear off the board because, oh, so we can just win the vibe check, right? If we just do nothing, we win the vibe check, right? We're at 15. 7, introvert is the highest. So, okay. So that's pretty crazy. I thought we were toast, to be honest. But SimonSmasher single-handedly won that game for us. So that was really exciting. So let's talk about if they actually did something. Because in this situation, they were so cooked. Because I could play TossUp. Then I could use a PeaceOutPenguin to target, let's say, both their PeaceOutPenguins. Or I would do a PeaceOutPenguin just to target like Peace Out and Contemplative, for example. Then they would have to peace out back to target my peace out. Then I peace out to target their peace out. But I have 3 peace outs. They only have 2 peace outs. So even though I initiate the peace out chain, I will also have the final peace out, which is very important for those type of situations. And then I also have Sunburn. So by removing their inspiring stories, I can just also, so I actually have 4 pieces of removal to their 2. So overall, I would have ended up winning that kind of board tension situation. So SimonSmasher, right? So the Statue of Liberty was difficult. So I think the problem was, okay, so we lost. We played the LilSinger out, and then we were kind of winning the vibe checks, which allowed them to set up nicely. But and then the Statue of Liberty, that's actually I really like this setup that they're doing. So this is something that maybe makes sense to consider. Okay, because I was a little like, why are they playing Tina? I think SimonSmasher's better. But Tina with Statue of Liberty is very interesting, especially against Coliseum. So imagine the situation: you play Statue of Liberty on Tina. So they then later play a Coliseum. That removes the Statue of Liberty, but then Tina comes back. So Tina Statue of Liberty is a combo because, right, the only way the Statue of Liberty gets removed in general is by another location, like a Leaning Tower or a Coliseum getting played. So then the Statue of Liberty, by definition, when it gets removed, you end up rotting their thing. So let's think about it from a card advantage standpoint, though. So you've spent Statue of Liberty, which gets iced, and your Tina is basically on the board. So you still lose 1 card advantage with this setup, right? Because when they play a relic, they remove your relic. But it still could be against Coliseum very useful. Now, of course, Coliseum is banned right now, so I'm not sure about this case. But okay, so again, like I think this game just really shows the embodiment of how I think that the red tower deck should be played. Like I didn't play aggressively. I played passively. I think the biggest thing that put us in a bad situation was actually playing out the LilSinger. If I didn't play the LilSinger and played even more passively, I think it would have gone even better. because, like, ultimately, you wanna just have the option of the cards you draw. Like, if I had gotten a BounceHouseRod, well, I did have a BounceHouseRod to get the card to get the TossUp, which, again, the TossUp now, look how useful TossUp was. I used it 1 turn, it came back because I really needed activators. I mean, I guess I had the Sunburn, but TossUp is such a good activator. Um, so put on a show, right? They never even got an introvert out. So overall, okay, so that's how the mirror match goes. So anyway, let's jump to the next game. All right, taking a look at our hand, I think this is a full mulligan. Definitely looking for those 3 drops. Um, okay, so we got and maybe what a twist. So we got the twist. We got a okay, so we got the bounce house, which is nice. So I think we'll put on a showdown because that's generally a late game card. Oh, I should have played the twist down. Sorry. Oh well, I'm sure we'll get a turn to play the twist. But yeah, that was a mistake. So we have it's too focused on the bounce house. So we have the bounce house, which is nice. So we'll play the singer. Again, I'm kind of thinking maybe I want to react with the singer because of what happened last games and just kind of wait till I can play it into safety. All right, so we've got the SimonSmasher, which again I definitely want to hold on to until I see the matchup because you saw in the previous game it was so critical. So I'm really happy playing the 3 smashers. And again, I will say this is only this metagame. Like, there's a lot of metagames where you wouldn't wanna play this. So the only question is, so if this is Bizbunk, then the Sunburn could be nice because hmm. Okay, so I'll play the Smasher because it's a tech card, I guess. So I could play Singer, but then I have nothing to play. So I think I'll just play it reactive. Like, if they have an Ascending, I guess I'll just go for Popcorn to try to remove it, but that means it will be on the board for 1 turn. So it's a little. Because, like, if I wanted to use Sunburn on the Ascending, I would have had to play Singer this turn, but I wouldn't have had a card to play I could have played SimonSmasher. But again, part of the thing with, like, SimonSmasher is if you put it on the board proactively, they're just not gonna play relics. Because why would you play a relic into a SimonSmasher? So, okay, so second bounce house. Um, so I think we'll just play this as a rod. So this is what I was saying about multiple bounce houses not really, working well together, so and I can talk a little bit I always arrange my rods, so, like, things I want to target with bounce house, I put on the left side, and then, things that I definitely don't wanna target, I put with, on the right side, just to kind of help me organize myself. So in this case, it would be, like, SimonSmasher and Put on a Show would be on the left side. But for, like, when you're playing, like, some sort of, like, purple deck, it also depends on what you wanna hit with Overwhelm with Knowledge, but I think it's nice to keep your rods kind of, like, proactively organize them so that if you're in a tight time situation, you won't know what to do. Okay, so they are definitely playing the Ascending here. Okay, so not ideal. So, right, the Sunburn would have been nice, but I would have had to play Singer and then into what? I'm not sure. So let's see what they do here. Um, right, okay, so this is where we really need the Binkus because without the Binkus, um, yeah, so okay, so on one hand, it's like kind of annoying that they kind of protected the Ascending from the popcorn. But on the other hand, it doesn't really matter because they only got rid of 1 card. So it doesn't really help them. So let's see now. They could play a purple Mega Penguin here this turn, I guess. But if they play the purple Mega Penguin, then that kind of slows them down a bit more. So and we will have the what's it called? We'll have the inspiring story ready. Or I mean we'll have the sunburn ready next turn if it has to go that way. But yeah, okay, so purple Mega Penguin is happening. So, okay, so we definitely need our Binkus. So that's like the most important card we're looking for. So now, right, the problem with Peace Out is that hmm, yeah, the issue with Peace Out is so I could play Peace Out and Singer. But the challenge with Peace Out is that they can basically use what's it called? The adventure squad on it. So I think I'll just play the inspiring story for now because next turn I can either do next turn I can either do the singer and they piece out together, or just the popcorn, depending on what they play. But I am, yeah, basically, I just am stalling until I get a Binkus. But yeah, this is hmm, not ideal. Okay, another bounce house. So definitely too many bounce houses. So put on a show could be useful depending on how the game goes in certain situations. So I don't know if they really want to play a directly on the board. Okay, so we'll start okay, so this bounce house. Okay, so this we definitely don't need this. We definitely just want to keep one. So we'll play the piece out now. So they're gonna have to win basically all on one turn, I think. So I'm gonna continue. I definitely don't want to win the vibe check. So we will just kind of keep losing the vibe check because I want Binkus if I can get it to not be Rod. Although I mean I do have the bounce house for that. But it's more importantly, like if they play ascending, I want to be able to play popcorn in response. But I will slowly. So next turn I can play the piece out, another piece out on the board. But right at this point, they're kind of in the situation where they're going to have to play ascending and do it all in one turn. Okay, so we haven't put on a show. So right, if they can win all in one turn, right, like ascending into bashful into a bunch of stuff, then we're going to be in trouble for sure. Um, but I think we just keep playing out. Okay, so we have a cheap activator. That's good. I think I definitely want to keep. Well, do I just want to play this as a rod? Um, no, I think we just go like this. We'll tie this vibe check. Um, yeah, I think tying the vibe check will be good because there's really not much. Oh, okay. So now we're gonna. So let's lose. Yeah, let's just keep the vibe check tied because I want them to basically not get the extra card because they definitely have way too many rods. Okay, so we'll just keep playing this because we don't really need the activator. Okay, so then yeah, so we'll just keep everything flopped nicely, and then we really are looking for because yeah, if we can get Binkus and we can empty their ice because right now they could definitely pop off. Although they only have 3 cards in hand, so I'm not quite sure exactly how if they can do it. Right, they would need Ascending, Bismo, and Bashful Swordsman. But I think that's not quite enough to win the game, even with this many rods. So we do want to kind of pressure them out as well. So I guess yeah, I guess if you really care about this matchup, you can also play a little comic because if I had a little comic right now, that would be great. But I guess the counterpoint would be I would just put a third Binkus in because if I had Binkus right now and I like cleaned out their ice, then they would be in a lot of trouble. So I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to need 2 more turns. So if I could get another. Okay, so yeah, so they're going to play Bunkus. Okay, so I think I could just put on a show this Bunkus. Um, okay, we definitely want to play. Yeah, let's just keep playing out on the board. Um, so do I worry about because I could just put on the show the Bunkus. Um, because it could be difficult next turn, maybe. Hmm. Do I play toss up as a rod? Because yeah, so I'm trying to get to 15. All right. So if I put on a show the Bunkus, I just worry that it could be hard for me to win against this Bunkus, but also wasting the put on a show. But I guess I could always bounce house another one. Okay, so do I would definitely want to keep Sunburn. I want to keep put on a show. I guess I'll just play this a little slower. Well, I could always just piece out the Bunkus. Um because right, if they do something to make it bigger, it's just gonna cancel the piece out. So it's not a big deal. So basically, yeah. So let's just do toss up. And then do we want to piece out the Bunkus? That is an interesting question because to some degree it um hmm. Or do I just want to keep the peace outs for the final turn? Because next turn 11, so I can't even win the game next turn. I think I want to save the put on a show. So I think let's just let this resolve. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so we just get the card draw. So we have Leaning Tower. So Leaning Tower will be nice. Now we can't actually get rid of the Bunkus because right they can always use Overwhelm with Knowledge to get a card from their ice. Okay, but they chose. Okay, so they did get that. So I could put on a show the Bunkus now. So Leaning Tower is interesting, but okay, let's just see. Let's just see if they end up flopping the Bunkus because I definitely don't want to win the vibe check. So if they flop it, then I will remove it with put on a show. Yeah, so then now let's just put on the show the Bunkus. And we'll just tie the vibe check again. Because really the thing is we want to stop them from getting, and this matchup isn't really about card advantage because, right, they play a lot of cards like Study at Night, which is negative card advantage. So I'm not really worried about card advantage. And I do think keeping the piece out on the board is more important. So we could play the Leaning Tower proactively, although then they know it's coming and maybe they have like a Tina who tears or something. So let's see. Okay, so now if I ever got the Binkus, that would already be great. Like, if I got I'm still like, right, I think if I get the Binkus, I just win. Or maybe I don't directly win, but, like, because 'cause they're waiting to pop off, and okay, so they're not even gonna play the Ascending here. Okay. So I am missing okay, so what are they gonna get back with the Ascending? So they have 2 Ascendings in their hand now. Okay, so we definitely play Inspiring Story. Alright, let's just play Inspiring Story. So we'll see if we tie this again because now we can play Popcorn next turn. So we'll play, yeah, because they could have an Adventure Squad. So if they play double, so I think because I don't want them to play double Ascending. If they play double Ascending right now, then, I kinda wanna keep them at 9 rods. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think maybe we just win this vibe check because we can just slam the Popcorn this turn because now we are big enough that we'll take out the, Purple Mega Penguin. So I think we just, slam Popcorn now and, yeah, then do we wanna use, we could just play a LilZoomer as a rod because, like, pushing any of these back to the hand doesn't really matter. So I think we do this. Okay. So I don't think we're gonna win this game, but it's gonna force them to play out this turn. So I think that if we can get an Ascending on the board now, we'll be in a I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, so we get 1 Ascending out, or are they gonna go double Ascending? No, so they're gonna go for the Bashful. Yeah, so okay, so I think I played this wrong. Um, because now, yeah, next turn they can basically just win the game. So, yeah, definitely misplayed this. Or did I? I'm not sure because I guess if I would have gotten Leaning Tower down or gotten to put on a show back. So there's a lot of, but yeah, we're in a really bad spot here now, for sure. So we didn't draw our Binkus, which is definitely a problem because yeah, we can't even do anything. So if I'd gotten put on a show, or I should have played the Leaning Tower, maybe if I would have played the Leaning Tower, I could have forced some play from them. But yeah, so the question is, The question is, do they have a Bismo? Which they probably do. Because if they have a Bismo, then they're gonna win next turn, I think. Um, there's really no reason to get rid of anything. But yeah, so if they have a Bismo, because they have one more ascending in their hand, so they can definitely um they can win here, I think. So yeah, so and the Zoomer wouldn't have helped us because everything was kind of played from hand. What we really needed to do is keep their ice clean, which is what we need the Binkus for. So theoretically, if they have ascending and if they have ascending and Bismo, then they should be able to get there this turn. 18. Oh yeah, with this 25. I think yeah, I think they get there. Oh yeah, especially because I saw what go. So they will get there. It's going to be close though, but they should have enough to get there because now they do 11. So yeah, so not ideal. So you definitely need the Binkus in this matchup, or you don't need it, but like as you can see, like I was able to keep the ascendings under control, right? They never left an ascending on the board for more than one turn. However, even though they never left an ascending on the board for more than one turn, I still couldn't deal with the slow grind of the ice buildup, and so that's what we need the Binkus for. Because here now, yeah, they play one more and then they close it out. So definitely, so we did. I think we're about as teched in this matchup as we can be. But ultimately, it's just not enough without the Binkus. So if you really are running into this matchup, you want to play the third Binkus. Now, of course, like right, we're not even halfway through our deck, so I'm not like right crazy surprised that we wouldn't get the Binkus here. Um, however, yeah. So I think because even if I would have removed their stuff, it really wouldn't have mattered at all. Right against Bizbunk, it's all about them basically bursting it all down in one turn. Like, right, you have two tools against Bizbunk with this deck. The first tool is you just make sure an ascending never survives. Now, their ascending did survive one turn on turn 4, but on that turn, oh no, they survived 2 turns. So I could have played more aggressive. I mean, if I knew it was Bizbunk, I would have played more aggressive to make sure I was able to sunburn the ascending. But at that point, I did get it off pretty quickly. There was minimal damage from the first ascending. But then after that, even though I kind of kept them off having ascending, we still are in the situation where I wasn't able to deal with the kind of all burst from one hand. So if I would have played, I guess if I would have played LeaningTower that turn, that could have maybe made me win the vibe check. So if I had won the vibe check that turn, like it would have forced them. Yeah, so I think LeaningTower, right? Maybe they didn't have anything to flop. Like, right, the problem with playing LeaningTower is if they had something like um yeah, so I think I should have played in hindsight, I think instead of playing the Popcorn Penguin, I should have played LeaningTower, played the BounceHouseRod, and gotten back to PutonaShow. I think that would have been that would have been probably the right play. I think that might have been able to buy me one more turn. And so with one more turn, maybe Binkus was a card I could get. So, okay, so yeah, the final turn I think was incorrect. I should have played LeaningTower and gotten the PutonaShow back. But they also weren't that close to getting it. Like, if they didn't have the other Bashful Swordsman, because like they were at a level where they had enough rods only to make it with a Bashful Swordsman, I think. Although maybe with the what's it called, with the fourth wall, because they did have two. Yeah, they could have done double fourth wall. So I think yeah. Anyway, definitely a mistake there. But all right, so there you have it. That's the red tower deck of the Vibes TCG. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.